हेलो स्टूडेंट्स। तो आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे स्टैंडर्ड 12th की जो पहली टॉपिक है सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन इन फ्लावरिंग प्लांट्स। तो फ्रॉम दिस टॉपिक नीट में आपको 3 से 4 क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाएंगे और इस ईयर नीट 2025 में 2 क्वेश्चंस पूछे गए थे इस चैप्टर से। ओके, तो we'll discuss which are the topic important in this and from which reason they have asked questions in NEET 2025 from this chapter. So first of all, what is sexual reproduction? So whenever two gametes are involved in reproduction process, okay, or in fertilization, two gametes are involved, male gametes and female gametes. Okay, so this is result into sexual reproduction, and in asexual reproduction there is involvement of only one gamete. Okay, and what is flowering plants? The plants which produces flower. Okay, and flower is the reproductive organ in plant. Remember, flower is the reproductive organ in plant. So generally in plant kingdom, the phylum angiosperms. So angiosperms, they are the phylum which have flowers, which have plants that produces flower. Angiosperm, they are also known as flower producing plants. So flowers, they are produced on floral buds. On floral buds, these flowers are produced, and there are several changes in enzymes, and structural changes leads to differentiation of cells, and that differentiation of cells leads to floral primordium. So floral primordium is a structure on which floral buds are produced. Okay, so floral primordium is a structure on which flowers are produced. Okay, floral primordium, this is flowers, and before flowers floral bud will be present. On that floral bud flower will be produced. Okay, and inflorescence they bear the floral bud. Remember, inflorescence bears floral buds. What is inflorescence? Inflorescence, they are the group of flowers. Okay, the group of flowers, they are known as inflorescence, right? And inflorescence, they bear the floral bud, and from floral bud the flowers are produced. And we know flowers, they are the reproductive site for sexual reproduction. So there are two parts. There are two parts in flower that helps in sexual reproduction. Okay, so you all know the two parts. They are known as androecium and gynoecium. Androecium and gynoecium. Okay, androecium, they are the male part of flower. Okay, and gynoecium, they are the female part of flower. So we will discuss one by one what is androecium and what are the different parts of androecium and how pollen grains are produced in androecium. So in androecium we will first see there are 3 parts. Okay, this androecium is further divided into 3 parts. Sorry, not 3, 2 parts. First is anther and second is filament. Okay, anther and filament, right? So we can also say stamens. They are divided into anther and filament. So you can say anther, androecium, or male part of flower. Okay, stamens, androecium, and male part of flower, all 3 are same thing. this is anther and filament. Long slender-like structure is filament, and this male part is known as androecium or stamen. Okay, androecium or stamens. Right. So I think you might have seen flower. So flower, there are two parts in flower. One is floral primordium, that is green in color. Okay. And second is colorful structure. Okay. So the colorful part of flower is known as petals. Okay. So petals are the colorful part of flower. Okay, and the green part is known as sepals. Sepals are the green part of flower, and petals are colorful part of flower. Okay, sepals and petals. Here two more things is there. Calyx and corolla. What is calyx and what is corolla? So calyx, so petals, they are known as corolla. Sepals, they are known as calyx. So we can say the green part of flower is known as sepals and calyx, or calyx, and the colorful part of flower is also called as petals or corolla. So whenever this calyx and corolla, when they are fused together, this condition is known as perianth. So you might have studied this perianth in the morphology of flowering plant. Example is lily. So perianth is fusion of calyx and corolla, that is perianth. And in other flower, ये calyx और corolla दोनों differentiate होते हैं, ये दोनों free होते हैं. Okay. So here anther, they are attached to filament, और filament किस पे रेस्ट करता है? थैलेमस पे. तो फ्रॉम थैलेमस, so thalamus is the green part. Okay, thalamus is the green part from which filament originates and it gives rise to anther. So next we will see one by one anther के बारे में और filament के बारे में. तो we know anther is bilobed and dithecous. We will see what is bilobed and dithecous. So when we cut the anther, when we draw the cross section area of anther, okay, this is one lobe, lobe 1 and lobe 2. So anthers are bilobed. Okay, and in this lobe 2 theca is present. So theca 1, theca 2. Okay, this lobe have theca 1 and theca 2. So anthers, they are bilobed and dithecous. Anther are bilobed and dithecous. And this anther, the outer wall of anther, जो बाहर का लेयर होता है और बाहर के जो सेल्स होते हैं एंथर के, दिस सेल्स आर नोन एज epidermis. The outer cell is known as epidermis. Okay, and the inner cell just below the epidermis, epidermis के just नीचे जो सेल होता है वो है एंडोथेशियम, और एंडोथेशियम के अंदर जो सेल्स होते हैं, ओके, जो ग्रुप ऑफ सेल एंडोथेशियम के अंदर होते हैं वो है मिडिल लेयर. Okay, middle layer, the inner cell just below endothelium. Okay, middle layer cell हो गया, right? And this bilobe structure, they are protected by a group of cell is present which protect this bilobe structure. That structure is known as, or the innermost structure is known as tapetum. Okay, so these four structures are present in anther: outer epidermis, then endothelium, then middle layer, then tapetum. Okay, so we'll see what are the function of these four layers. So generally these three, epidermis, endothelium और middle layer, ये तीन एंथर के डेhiscence में काम करते हैं, नॉट एंथर, पोलन ग्रेन के डेhiscence में काम करते हैं. और पोलन ग्रेन जब निकलता है तो ये तीन लेयर मेनली हेल्प्स इन रिलीज ऑफ पोलन ग्रेन्स. ओके, दे हेल्प्स इन रिलीज ऑफ पोलन ग्रेन or dehiscence of pollen grain. Okay, and out of these three, endothelium is the main layer which helps in this release of pollen grains. Okay, they play a crucial role. Okay, they play a crucial role in release or dehiscence of pollen grains. Tapetum क्या करता है? So tapetum, they are rich in cytoplasm. इसमें साइटोप्लाज्म की क्वांटिटी बहुत ज़्यादा होती है. ओके, दे आर रिच इन न्यूट्रिएंट्स, फूड मटेरियल्स, दे प्रोवाइड नरिशमेंट टू डेवलपिंग पॉलन. टेपेटम जो भी फूड मटेरियल है, न्यूट्रिएंट्स है, वो प्रोवाइड करता है डेवलपिंग पॉलन ग्रेन्स को, राइट. और अंदर में जो सेल्स होते हैं, इस बाइलोब स्ट्रक्चर के अंदर जो सेल्स होते हैं, ओके, दे आर नोन एज स्पोरोजीनस सेल्स. ओके, एंड दिस सेल्स आर प्रोड्यूस्ड फ्रॉम स्पोरोजीनस टिश्यू. ओके, तो अंदर स्पोरोजीनस टिश्यू होते हैं जहाँ से स्पोरोजीनस सेल्स रिलीज होते हैं. तो जनरली ये जो बाइलोब स्ट्रक्चर है, ओके, सो दे अपीयर्स लाइक सैक. ओके, दे अपीयर लाइक sac, so they are known as pollen sac. Bilobe structure, they are known as pollen sacs. Sacs, बोड़ा. Okay, तो just like बोड़ा में हम सामान रखते हैं, तो वैसे ही यहाँ pollen sac में pollens प्रोड्यूस होते हैं और pollens यहाँ पे डिवाइड होते हैं माइक्रोस्पोर मदर सेल से. तो we'll see this sporogenous cell. Okay, so they divide and they matures into pollen grains. So this is sporogenous cells. इसका और भी नाम है, जैसे कि we can say microspore. So microspore और sporogenous cells और microspore mother cell. Okay, so all these three are same, तीनों same है, sporogenous cells, microspores और MMC. Okay, so क्या होता है MMC में, right? So when the pollen is immature, when the anther is immature, so there will be sporogenous cell. Okay, तो आगे आगे उस एंथर में स्पोरोजीनस सेल में कुछ डिफरेंशिएशन होंगे उनके सेल्स में, और स्पोरोजीनस सेल विल गिव राइज टू pollen grains. So you see what type of differentiation, what type of cell division takes place in sporogenous cell. So this sporogenous cell or microspore mother cell, okay, they will undergo meiosis 1. तो meiosis 1 cell division का meiosis 1 होगा, okay, and it will result into two cell, okay. Then again क्या होगा, meiosis 2 होगा. After meiosis 2, the 2 cell will result into 4 cell, okay. So in male gamete, in production of pollen grains, in production of male gamete, there is only meiotic division. सिर्फ meiosis होता है male gametes और pollen grains के production में, okay. Here one more thing remember, this pollen grains, sorry, pollen sac, they are known as microsporangia. Microsporangia or microsporangium, okay. Remember, they might ask you which of the following is known as microsporangium. So sporogenous cells, they undergo first meiosis, produce 2 cells, then produces 4 cells, okay. Then this 4 pollen grains, they are now known as pollen grains. They dissociate from each other, okay, and they dissociate from each other and they produces individual pollen grains, okay. So this process of production of pollen grains from sporogenous cells or microspores और microspore mother cell, इस process को हम लोग बोलते हैं microsporogenesis. So microsporogenesis is the process by which pollen grains are produced by meiotic division from microspore or microspore mother cell or sporogenous cells. ओके. सो पॉलन सैक में एक माइक्रोस्पोरेंजिया नहीं होता है, और सॉरी एक स्पोरोजिनस सेल नहीं होता है. यहाँ पे थाउजेंड ऑफ स्पोरोजिनस सेल्स होते हैं, थाउजेंड्स ऑफ माइक्रोस्पोर मदर सेल होते हैं जो कि मेयोटिक डिवीजन करते हैं और प्रोड्यूस करते हैं पॉलन ग्रेन्स. सो इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन इज व्हाई देयर इज ओनली मेयोसिस इन स्पोरोजिनस सेल, व्हाई देयर इज नो माइटोटिक डिवीजन. व्हाई मेयोसिस? बिकॉज मेयोसिस इज reductional division. It reduces the chromosome number by half. Okay, it reduces the chromosome number by half. For example, if here is 30 chromosomes diploid, so pollen grains which will be produced, they all will have 15 chromosomes. Okay, and this 15 chromosome will fertilize 15 chromosome of egg. Okay, in female gametophyte incarnation we'll see, and they will result into production of diploid new plant. Okay, a new flower. Right, so that's why meiosis is there. Okay, so next हम डिस्कस करेंगे pollen grains ये जो प्रोड्यूस हुए, ये फर्दर क्या चेंजेस होते हैं इसमें, और क्या इंपॉर्टेंस है pollen grains का, और क्या हार्मफुल इफेक्ट है. Okay, so this pollen grains which is produced by meiotic 2, and after degradation of their walls from 4, each of them is separated, so they undergo mitotic division. Okay, they undergo mitotic division and they results in production of 2 nucleus. Okay, so माइटोसिस होगा, तो माइटोसिस में कैरियोकाइनेसिस भी होता है, साइटोकाइनेसिस भी होता है, बट यहाँ पे सिर्फ कैरियोकाइनेसिस होगा, मीन्स ओनली न्यूक्लियर डिवीजन टेक्स प्लेस इन pollen grains. तो आफ्टर माइटोटिक डिवीजन 2 nucleus are produced, but there will be no cytoplasm development or cytokinesis. Okay, and vacuoles will be produced. Vacuoles, they will also divide. Vacuoles, okay, cytoplasm, no sorry, cytoplasm will not divide, right? So next what will happen? So there will be separation of these two nucleus. Okay, so one will come towards north pole, one will come towards south pole. ओके, एक ऊपर जाएगा एक नीचे जाएगा, एक न्यूक्लियस वो बड़ा होगा एक न्यूक्लियस छोटा होगा। तो बड़े वाले न्यूक्लियस को हम लोग बोलते हैं वेजिटेटिव न्यूक्लियस एंड छोटे वाले न्यूक्लियस को जनरेटिव न्यूक्लियस। Generative nucleus and vegetative nucleus, and they are rich in cytoplasm. Okay, and this pollen grains, they synthesize their outer walls, which is very hard. Okay, the pollen grains they have very hard outer wall, और उस wall को हम लोग बोलते हैं exine, and inner wall जो होता है उसको बोलते हैं हम लोग intine. Okay, but exine वॉल होता है कुछ जगह पे फरो लाइक स्ट्रक्चर होते हैं, फरो लाइक स्ट्रक्चर। ओके, दिस फरो लाइक स्ट्रक्चर प्रेजेंट ऑन exine, that is known as germ pore. Okay, their exine they are made up of sporopollenin. So sporopollenin is the hardest material that make exine very hard and rigid. Okay, intine बना होता है cellulose and pectin से। Okay, intine बना होता है cellulose और pectin से, and germ pore में स्पोरोपोलेनिन एब्सेंट होता है, जर्म पोर में स्पोरोपोलेनिन एब्सेंट होता है। ओके, एंड व्हाट इज द फंक्शन ऑफ जर्म पोर? तो जर्म पोर लीड्स टू फॉर्मेशन ऑफ पॉलन ट्यूब। जब पॉलन लैंड करेगा स्टिग्मा पे, ओके, सो तो पॉलन ट्यूब बनेगा, उसमें से ये दोनों न्यूक्लियस जाएंगे, राइट? तो वो जो पॉलन ट्यूब फॉर्मेशन होता है वो जर्म पोर करता है, राइट? क्योंकि यहाँ पे स्पोरोपोलेनिन एब्सेंट होता है, राइट? सो नेक्स्ट, ये जो वेजिटेटिव न्यूक्लियस है एंड जो जेनेटिव न्यूक्लियस है ये फर्दर डिवाइड होते हैं। ओके, तो दिस जेनेटिव न्यूक्लियस, they further divide and they produces two gametes, two male gametes. Remember, two male gametes in flower produced by generative nucleus of pollen, right? And vegetative nucleus, so they are rich in food supply and nutrients. They provide nutrition to developing male gametes. जो vegetative nucleus है वो food देगा, supplements, nutrition जो भी इसके ग्रो के लिए important है वो provide करेगा vegetative nucleus. Okay, and these two male gametes they will transfer through pollen tube into female ovary, right? This is about pollen grains. तो जो स्पोरोपोलेनिन है ये बहुत important है. Okay, so because of this sporopollenin, pollen grains are preserved as fossil. Okay, because of this sporopollenin, pollen grains are hard, right? And they can be stored for years. They can be stored for years due to presence of this sporopollenin. And next we will see viability of pollen grains. Viability means lifetime of pollen grains. So कितने दिन तक pollen grains को हम प्रिजर्व कर सकते हैं, कितने दिन के लिए pollen grain हमारा फंक्शनल है, able to fertilize ovary. Okay, so some plants they have viability more than 3 months. Okay, some plants which is present in families like Rosaceae, Leguminaceae, and Rosaceae Leguminaceae, and one more is there, Solanaceae. So plants which is present in this family, okay, so this family plants, the viability of pollen grain is more than months. Okay, and this pollen grains, they are rich in nutrients, they are used as supplement for athletes, right? And some pollen grains of some pollen grains of plants, they are allergic. They cause respiratory disorders, bronchitis, asthma and all. So pollen grains of Parthenium or carrot grass, okay, pollen grains of Parthenium or carrot grass or Congress grass they are allergic, right? They are allergic. They cause respiratory syndromes, okay, respiratory disease जैसे कि ब्रोंकाइटिस हो गया, अस्थमा हो गया, ओके। ओके, और इसमें एक पॉइंट ऐड कर लेना पॉलन ग्रेन्स में। पॉलन ग्रेन्स दे आर स्टोर्ड इन -196 डिग्री सेल्सियस इन लिक्विड नाइट्रोजन, ओके। तो लिक्विड नाइट्रोजन में पॉलन ग्रेन्स को स्टोर किया जाता है फॉर प्लांट ब्रीडिंग प्रोसेस, ओके। किसी भी प्लांट को अगर ब्रीड करना है तो पॉलन ग्रेन, जो भी स्टोर्ड पॉलन ग्रेन्स है 1 साल से 2 साल से स्टोर किया गया है, उसका हम यूज़ कर सकते हैं ब्रीडिंग करने के लिए, ओके। तो पॉलन ग्रेन्स आर प्रिजर्व इन लिक्विड नाइट्रोजन एट -190 डिग्री सेल्सियस, राइट। अगर तुम लिक्विड नाइट्रोजन में अगर हाथ डाल दोगे बिना कुछ ग्लव्स पहने तो हाथ गल जाएगा, ओके। सो साइंटिस्ट दे यूज hard gloves to take anything out from liquid nitrogen,